Finally, when all hope seemed to have been lost, the Premier League is back, and honestly, worse than ever. We're talking about all the games over the past weekend and midweek, as well as the upcoming Champions League fixtures. Pete, how are we doing?
There's a lot going on in the world, but it was good to have the Prem back. And it was a doubleheader.
It does feel good for the Premier League to be back. Getting 2 games this week to make up for 2 weeks without it feels right.
Yeah, I felt like this this international break was longer than other international breaks. I don't know. I don't feel like you ever get pretty much for most teams like anywhere like 2 weeks to almost 16 days of like just no football.
Feels like a very quiet sports moment right now. So to get it back feels good.
Yeah, usually the March Madness is more the madness, and this year the tournament hasn't really been all that exciting. But
bit of a snoozer.
Yeah, a little bit of snoozer. Cool that all the 1 seeds made it, in my opinion. But anyways,
is that because you placed a bet?
I did place a bet, and I did win that, and I'm also killing it in my tournament pool. So it's all on the up.
Everything's going good for old Petey.
Yeah, like we said, but there's a little bit of a, they double dipped this week, the Prem. So they had a couple midweek games and obviously the weekend slate. So starting with the midweek games, I think there's some games to point out here. Leaders, Liverpool, beat their crosstown rivals, Everton. Not the same fireworks like last time how it ended, where all that chaos ensued and there was like Arne Slot got that red card. It was bedlam. Jota scored. It's a good little bounce back for Liverpool. I know a couple episodes ago we talked about how it was a terrible week for them. So it was good for them to get back and ensure that kind of 12-point lead that they have over Arsenal. For Everton, I mean, one of these days, maybe, I don't know. I'm not trying to wish bad on Everton, but one of these days, man, they might slip up.
They might actually get relegated. It's every year I keep thinking it's going to happen, and every year they just manage to stay in that like third, that like 3 out of 4 zone on the table.
They'll like start out so bad, but then like they'll freaking like scrape and crawl through a slew of results and kind of gets them to like that, that threshold, that high 30-40 point threshold, and they're safe. I mean, I don't know. Next year they have David Moyes, I think, better manager than Sean Dyche. So we'll see. They're also moving into the new stadium, so new stadium bump.
I guess we'll see. I'm very curious to see. I feel like there has to be something fundamentally wrong with them at this point. But
next game, Arsenal 2, Fulham 1. Good to see Bukayo Saka come back. He was away for 3 months. I think it was like an ankle injury or something. So good to see that he's back, but a little too late here. I don't think Arsenal is making that comeback.
All I'll say is forget about Arsenal making a comeback. Saka coming back. I'm just saying, getting an Anne Hathaway happy to see you return Instagram post. I would be putting up Ballon d'Or numbers if I had a post like that for me from Anne Hathaway.
I think is she single? I think she's single.
I don't know, but she's clearly a ball knower. I had no idea Anne Hathaway was even a fan of soccer in the first place, but clearly an Arsenal supporter.
Whoa. I mean, she's the Princess of Genovia, like,
of course,
European country. Like what? Like
what are they in the Balkan Cup? Were they in the Balkan Cup?
It was somebody checked the history. I think they were. They participated 1 year, but yeah, of course she's a ball knower. She's Princess of Genovia.
No, of course.
Yeah. I mean, Fulham losing to a London rival. I mean, shout out to Fulham. They're actually having a pretty good season. 8th place. They're kind of like outside that fight for like the last couple Champions League spots. We'll get to that later, but respectable. Like Fulham, good team, tough team. I don't think they have enough to. They need to figure out, make some good signings, and maybe they'll be like on one of these darlings like Aston Villa was maybe last year. City 2, Leicester 0. City scored 2 goals from Jack Grealish and Marmoush. Kind of coasted there. Side note, Haaland out for 7 weeks. Kind of sucks. I mean, look, they're not. I think they're out in the Champions League, so whatever. They hopefully he'll be back. Maybe if they get to the FA Cup final.
I feel like at this point for them, it's just like praying they can get. I mean, imagine City not getting a Champions League at this point. Like it'd be crazy. It's gonna be crazy, and there's like a high likelihood they might not.
Yeah, we'll get into it a little bit later. We'll talk about the top 4 race, but I mean, look, this is a result you needed to get. You know, they did that. They got the point. They got all 3 points that they needed ahead of a derby that we'll get into against United yesterday. Switching gears to Leicester, you got to feel for the Foxes.
I mean, you hate to see it. They get back, and now they're just getting thrashed. It's always tough when you see the teams like get promoted, they make it back up, and then just immediately get stomped on hard at that point.
Yeah, you hate to see the yo-yo clubs like Norwich City, big time yo-yo club. Like I feel like over the last decade, Leicester, it sucks. You know, everyone remembers 2016. Everyone loves Jamie Vardy. He's having a party. I hate to see it for him because he's like, you know, he's Jamie Vardy. I mean,
he is him. He was him.
He was him. The stereotypical English shithouser striker, bodied by Red Bull and cigs.
I mean, unfortunately, though, I think his time has come and gone, though.
Yeah, it's just there's probably been some case studies, but they'll be discussed about what happened to Leicester. The Cinderella Cup of winning the Prem. They also won an FA Cup. They felt like they were on the up and up, and then sadly those events when their owner died and that helicopter crash. I feel like it's never been.
Yeah,
it has not been the same since that happened.
One funny thing about that Leicester match, though, so Leicester brought on their 15-year-old substitute, Jeremy Monga. Now, first thing that's sick about this, Jeremy Monga, 15 years old, born in 2009, Premier League player. Just something to take in there.
Oh.
Just something to take in. Born in 2009, Premier League player.
2009? We're getting
disgusting.
2009 out there now.
We're getting old. Now,
I don't like that one bit. Oh.
Now, this might be the most on-brand thing for us, because this is the only piece of kit news we have for this week. Jeremy Munga is the only player for Leicester on the field without their sponsor, because the law is against it for how young he is. He's too young to wear a gambling sponsor, so the BC Games sponsorship that's on Leicester, he gets to play without it on a blank jersey because it is against the law for him to be advertising gambling.
Wow. Rare W, I guess. Rare W.
Yeah. I did see comments on Reddit saying that Leicester should field an entire U18 squad so they can just get the free money from the sponsorship without actually having to advertise for that shit company.
Yeah. Oh my god. That is a shit sponsor too. Little pulse check here. We always do the pulse check for our dumb little teams. Not a good one for me. United 0, Forest 1. And on top of it, Anthony Elanga, a guy we sold 2 years ago for, I think he was the first guy we sold for profit since Cristiano Ronaldo, scores in the 5th minute. Even though United lost and they also conceded again first. This is a game where it kind of shows how, number one, how good Forest have been this year. Not that they played great. They didn't play great. They played like, they just played in like a low block and defended really well. I mean, they had some good moments where they attacked. But looking at the stats, United had 68% possession, 23 shots. That's like the most shots we've had. Like, I think since Amorim has become the manager. 3 big opportunities, an XG of 1.63, and I mean, I think it was Matt Sells. He had a couple good saves for Forest. I hate that it was Elanga. He did the classic, like, he actually did not celebrate. He did like the pseudo, like, I'm gonna kind of celebrate, but actually not really, because I'm gonna be respectful here.
Fair.
What's your take? Do you like that? Do you like when they don't do the celebration, or if they? Are you like?
I think it's all case by case. Like, for me, like if they were like a loyal club servant, and like Frank Lampard scoring against Chelsea for Manchester City, if he celebrated, that was going to be a bad day for me. And that was going to be a bad day for him and a bad day for the club. Like that's an ugly look. Now that's an extreme version of this. But if you spend a couple years there even, and you don't really have any like real ties, who cares?
Yeah, this one was like he kind of did like he didn't do any like really celebratory. He like thought about it, but that was like whole part of like his whole like gimmick in his head that he wanted to do, like the bit. Like he's like, I'm gonna tease that I'm gonna celebrate, but really not celebrate. And I was fine because like, I mean, he was a youth academy guy, and honestly, he would have been forgotten in this team if he stayed. It was good for him to like get out and actually get some playing time. I'm happy that he's actually doing well at Forest. Again, I know some people said that, you know, we should have kept him. Honestly, not the right profile for us to keep him. Like, he needed to leave, and it's fine. It's whatever. You know, you got to stop losing games, because sooner or later, Ruben Amorim can't be saying at press conferences that I don't have enough time, because he won't have enough time.
It's definitely getting bad.
It's bad, but I think he'll be granted the time. He's going to be given the time.
It'd be crazy not to.
If he gets like maybe 1 or 2 more transfer windows and this team is still performing like crap, then yeah, he needs to go. But hopefully it doesn't get to that. And then transitioning off to my dumb little team. How about your little dumb team? Good result.
It's for my pulse check, the first half of the week, positive pulse check, a good return. For the second half of the week, honestly, just couldn't be worse. It could be worse, but it wasn't great. I mean, this first half of the week, going up, especially in a derby against rivals like Spurs, it feels good to get a win there, especially after getting back from that long break. I mean, an Enzo banger, love to see it. Just a good header after a cross in. And I don't know, we felt like it felt like we knew what we were doing. We were moving correctly in that match. Maybe it's because it's against just an absolutely decimated Spurs side. I don't know. I don't think it's much of an excuse because of what happens in the following match after this one, but it just feels good to be back. Those were important points for us to get. And he's apparently the third Chelsea midfielder to score home and away against Spurs in a single Premier League season since Roberto Di Matteo in 97 and Gus Poyet in 99. So it's been, I mean, we're coming up on 30 years, 25 years minimum.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Enzo, since, let's be real here, since abandoning his wife and family, has been on demon time for Chelsea. It's been crazy. Since divorcing and leaving, he's been unbelievably good for us.
Wow. Did we talk about that? I think we mentioned that in one of the episodes.
We probably did, but it is like an insane difference. And as crazy as it sounds, it really might be one of those things that like he just had this like divorce looming over him. And once you got that weight off your shoulders and it's over with, he's just balling.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the goals and assist ratio for him this year in the Premier League, I mean, 10, like 5 goals, 5 assists. And he's like a holding midfielder, right? He's like your 6.
He'll move up, but yeah, he's more of a holding midfielder. And honestly, like, along with that, this is a very lackluster season for us. Like, we are not finishing either. So, I mean, he's been fantastic for us. Him and Moises Caicedo have been incredible.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, you guys are trending in the right direction. And then move over to the weekend here. We'll go back to back.
0-0 to Brentford. 0 goals scored. One of the most boring games of the year, I think, without question. Just a snooze fest. I mean, anytime I see Nkunku starting striker at this point, I know it's going to be a rough game. And I think the best way to sum it up is I saw a Reddit comment in the post-match thread that whenever I see Christopher Nkunku start, it feels like a wet fart just went off in the room. Just soils the room, just makes me not excited. There's just nothing that ever comes with it. It feels like he's not trying. Whoever's idea it was to put Malo Gusto as a defensive midfielder, and by whoever's idea I mean Maresca, shot into the sun. What are we doing, man? Like, I guess like don't understand our tactics at times. Like, it's good we're shaking things up. I'm honestly happy to see Madueke back in the starting lineup. He was pretty lackluster once he came off his fire start to the season, but like at least we're changing things up and like giving things a go. But like, I would have rather seen Reece James at the defensive mid position because I feel like that's where he's really been thriving, especially because it's just less running for him. But if we're gonna keep him in the back, at least he's not like moving up and down. But I mean, just an all around just dreadful game, just super boring.
Yeah,
I
looking at
mean,
the stats, feel like they tell a different story because you guys did have 21 shots,
you'd
three of
think, right?
three of them on target, to Brentford's 9 shots, but also same number of like big chances with 3. I'll tell you that I'll say this. I feel like Brentford is now one of those teams that, they got promoted a couple years ago or a few years ago, and it's always like those first like that first year and that second year. Once you get to like that third and fourth year of being promoted, they obviously start establishing themselves, and they have like a good, they don't have a lot of money, but they have a good coach in Thomas Frank, and I think they have good like players who are very adaptable to any system or a style of play to make it difficult for the opponents.
Yeah.
And anytime I see Brentford come up, you just know it's going to be like one of those games where, hey, it might be like a total domination, but don't be surprised if you guys are struggling because they got good guys. Brian and Buemo, who I have in fantasy, fantastic. I know this game's kind of a stinker for him, but Wisa also very dangerous as well. They got some good guys. I mean, luckily you didn't lose because that would have really hurt you in terms of the table. Because after the midweek results and this weekend, like it got you back into 4th. So
It's good we got it. I mean, getting the draw there, it's better than losing points, obviously. And honestly, we got pretty lucky because we needed City to drop points there in the Manchester Derby. And pulse check to you now. How are you feeling about that 0-0 draw? Both our teams just refusing to score this week or weekend.
yeah, some were saying that this is like, some were saying this was like a national, like this was how many, you can describe it any which way. It was like absolute, you know, borderline abuse to put this on TV and have millions of people watch it. This like forms of torture, like anything you can think of as something that's unbearable to watch. This was it. I think this game perfectly described where both teams are at. I mean,
It's fair.
we've discussed the trials and tribulations of United this season and everything that they're going through. There was a big chance for Xerxes, I think late in the game around like shortly after he came on, where it was a beautiful play down the left hand side, and Dorgu cut it across, and Xerxes hit it great. It was just a great save by Ederson, because it was going to go in if he doesn't make that save. Maybe that changes it. But I mean, in City this year has just not been the City that we've known, where they've been dominating games and everything. It's just it wasn't a good game by any means. I mean, Bruno Fernandes, best player for United. That he's been pretty much the best player for the last, I don't know how many games now, for us. But I mean, it's nice to just get some points out of this. Just start building some points here. I mean, we outshot City 13, but really no big chances. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else to describe it. I guess the only other side thing out of this was over the weekend, City legend Kevin De Bruyne announced that he will not be returning next season. So
I feel like it almost feels like the worst kept secret in football too.
yeah, like
We all kind of, I feel like the writing was very much on the wall. To see him leave though, I mean, as much as it sucked playing against him, as much as it sucks knowing he was a Chelsea player, I think his course has ran, and he's arguably the best Premier League midfielder of all time. Easily top fiver for me.
Yeah, I mean, he will go down as for sure one of the top five midfielders in the Prem. I mean, there were some times like where he was like the passes and the vision and everything. Like he was the engine for City. He unfortunately like got hit with like terrible just muscular injuries and some injuries that would keep him out. But I mean, he's been you know like, top. He's been like one of the best midfielders, especially in the last decade. And I mean, he's 33, so kind of doesn't have the legs anymore. I feel
Hmm.
like it's not, probably still looking for a nice payday. Saudi, where you at? Everyone points to the Saudi league. He might go there. Maybe MLS. I don't know. But
I've heard LAFC potentially. I mean, I'm sure Miami's gonna come in with a bid. I don't understand how they're doing it. I don't know the logistics behind it, but
they're Messi FC. They can do whatever they want now.
that is very true.
Hey, Don Garber, we're going to bend the rules here because it's Messi. Like, yeah, 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 yeah. But I don't think there's really much else to talk about this game. I mean, they're like I said, terrible, like boredom, like nothing really happened. Some bright spots. I guess my only negative, the only other negative besides like obviously overall play, kind of getting tired of freaking Garnacho shit. Meaning like his play. He is such a frustrating player. Like there's times where he's really good and you're like, yes, this is what you want to see out of like the young players when they come through the youth academy. But there's other times where he's just been really, really frustrating. Like just doing the classic thing where the right play is to lay it off to the wingback who's making the run, but instead he wants to cut back and curl it on with his right foot, but like try to dribble through five guys just to get the angle, and before you know it,
Hamburgers.
yeah, and before you know it, even though he started on the left side of the box, he'll end up on the right side of the box and then hit the shot that gets deflected, and then basically off of him for a goal kick. So he's he's very very frustrating at this point. I think he's just running on fumes, and that's because we don't have anyone. But anyway, let's move on. Let's move on to some other results from the weekend. I think the biggest result of the weekend that was a shock to everyone, probably Fulham 3, Liverpool 2. Ended Liverpool's 26 game unbeaten run in the league, but Liverpool is still maintaining an 11-point lead at top of the table here.
Going half the year unbeaten is still sick. It's so nuts.
Yeah, and this is crazy. This is like it looks like Fulham just like went, you know, punched him right in the mouth. And then there's a real study to this where you're more susceptible to giving up back-to-back goals within like 5-minute intervals because of just
It's a very big mental game. It's like, all right, can you like lock back in? Because like you definitely get your momentum shattered a bit with one goal.
yeah, it's all
And
like
if they can just capitalize immediately, that's
yeah,
bad.
yeah, exactly. It's like the organization of it, of the team, the defense, the positioning. I mean, yeah, but I mean, look, they did make a comeback. They made it interesting, like Luis Diaz coming scoring in the 72nd minute here, but and it looks like I mean outside of the possession, like total shots and chances, like seems pretty even here. I mean, Liverpool. It's just been interesting. Like if Arsenal had some better results, or maybe didn't get hit with some bad untimely injuries, they could have made this title race a little bit interesting. Also, I mean, Liverpool was just kind of smoking through everyone until February, basically until like end of February, March. Liverpool's been kind of whatever. I think right now they're just coasting. Liverpool's just coasting. They're like,
I
just
think it's
let's,
I think at this point they're just getting to the end.
yeah,
I mean, it's them. Like it for them to lose it all would be historical.
keep it coasting, get the prem, job well done.
Congratulations. Send Mo Salah off with champagne.
I mean, we don't know. He hasn't signed the contract yet. Now that's
It's gonna be catastrophic if they don't re-sign him. Like it's so well earned. It'd be nuts to me. Now, what I think is crazy is, and I don't even care about this game that much. Everton Arsenal 1-1 draw. Um, the Premier League refs, I don't think it's even close, are the worst referees in the entire world. And I think it's bar none. They are horrific this season. For one, the way they just keep going to VAR to the side, just such clear-cut decisions. Like the penalty that Everton was awarded was so a penalty, it's insane that they even had to take time to look at it. But the real insane thing that happened with them is they blew the whistle early, the final whistle during stoppage time, and then restarted the game. I've never seen anything like this in the 20 years I've been watching football. I don't think anyone's ever seen anything like this.
So
They blew the final whistle, realized he blew it early, and then restarted the game.
How early are we talking? Like,
so the referee blew the whistle,
mm-hmm.
ended the game, realized he ended it early by a few seconds. Everton took their final free kick. Then the second Arsenal got the ball back, they blew the whistle. So essentially just ended it for Everton to get one more shot, like restarted the game for Everton to get one more shot, and then just immediately called it when they lost the ball.
Oh,
it just feels, I think at that point, you just got to stick to your guns and face, because this is crazy. Like, you're going to get way more heat for this than you would not restarting it. Like, I mean, just incompetent. Like, you're at the top level of refereeing.
I hate the English refs so much. I just don't think there's ever any consistency across any of them. I mean, like, there's so many dumb, baffling decisions. And then, like, also, like, just some of, like, even if it's not, like, a major decision, just some of the, like, small, like, let them play. I'm all about, like, the physicality. Like, physicality in the right way. Like, not just slashing out at a guy.
Yeah.
Like, I want some physicality. That's what's exciting. Let them play. Like, I hate these little, like, ticky-tack fouls where, like, he barely even touched him, like, you know, and it's just, yeah. Look, I thought NBA refs were bad and NFL refs were bad, but nothing beats the Prem refs. And leading to, like, the last game of the weekend from notice here, it's a big one, I think, overall in terms of the race for the top four. So, Aston Villa was 2, Nottingham Forest 1. Back-to-back goals, basically, for Aston Villa by Morgan Rogers and Daniel Malen. Forest kind of came back with one here by Silva in the 57th minute. Looks like pretty even game total in terms of total shots and opportunities. Aston Villa making this very, very interesting. They have won 5 straight across all competitions. So obviously they beat Club Rouge, and I don't know, I guess they played a charity game, but whatever. They did well in the FA Cup. They thrashed Brighton in the midweek, and they got a big game coming up with Paris Saint-Germain. But Aston Villa making a late surge. So let's move forward here, because this, I feel like, the big conversation I want to have with you here is the race for the top 4. So as we enter the final 7 to 8 games for the Prem, here's where we stand. So obviously we know Liverpool first, Arsenal second. This is where it gets interesting. From third, which is currently occupied by Forest, who are on 57 points, to Aston Villa, who are in 7th place with 51 points. So there's a 6-point gap from 3rd to 7th. Pretty much everyone is on same games played besides Newcastle, who have a game in hand. This, and another factor to throw into this, is the Premier League might actually get a 5th Champions League spot. Do you know this? Did you know this, Manola?
I did not.
Think about
this is
this?
news to me.
This is new?
This is news to me.
Let me drop some knowledge on you here. So,
Please.
basically, how can the Prem get an extra spot? 2 European leagues, any European leagues that you can think of, Serie A, La Liga, whatever, will earn an extra 2025-2026 Champions League spot based on their club's performances across all the UEFA competitions. So that includes the Conference League and also the Europa League. So for leagues like the Prem, this could mean a fifth place team qualifies for the Champions League. So basically, the Champions League and Europa League winners this season also get a spot in next year's Champions League if they haven't already qualified. UEFA uses a system called the coefficient to determine the top performing leagues and based on the results that they do in the UEFA competition. So basically, points are earned through wins, draws, and progression in tournaments, with bonus points awarded for deeper runs and higher finishes. So right now, there's a bunch of English teams, like United's in like the quarterfinals. There's Villa and Arsenal that are in the quarterfinals for the Champions League. And then obviously Chelsea are doing great in the Conference League too. So that all has a factor to play that they can get a fifth spot. Now, you would think historically, well, it's always just going to be the top two leagues that are always going to get that fifth spot. Not the case. 2018, 2019, it was England and Spain. 2019 to 2020, Spain and Germany were the two leagues that got the extra spot. COVID year, England and Spain got it. 21, 22, England and the Netherlands. Shocker there. And 2022, 23 was England and Italy, and last year was Italy and Germany. So it's actually pretty spread across, I would think. Obviously, England being more consistent. But my question for you, little fun segment here: how do you think the top four is going to finish? Who do you like? We pretty much know Arsenal, Liverpool.
It's really for me. It's who's gonna finish fourth. I think 1 through 3 is kind of locked. I see Nottingham Forest kind of holding on here. I think there's a pretty big deficit there for them to lose. They're gonna have to lose a lot of ground. Now the fourth place spot, to be completely honest with you, and this is me talking crazy, but I think it's gonna come down. I'm willing to go on record and say I think it's going to come down to the last match of the season between Chelsea and Newcastle on who gets that fourth place spot, because they actually have a semi-difficult run. We have, I think, a pretty easy run aside from Liverpool. Liverpool and Newcastle, which would be the last of the season, are two last matchups. I mean, Liverpool's probably going to be that's going to be an easy lock. Unfortunately, I feel we're going to lose that one. The rest of it, I mean, the problem is, are we going to show up? No. I think realistically speaking, it's probably going to be Newcastle 4th, Chelsea 5th.
Is that Newcastle game a home or away game?
The Newcastle
match, that will have a lot.
It's away.
Oh, you guys are fucked.
Liverpool's home. Still don't love those odds.
Nah, that game at St. James Park, and if basically it's determined,
and if there's implications,
and if it's basically whoever wins gets the fourth spot,
I don't love her shot. I don't love her chances.
Yeah. I don't think, unlike you, I don't think third is as much of a guaranteed lock for Nottingham Forest. Even though they do have 57 points, I am eyeing up Newcastle. I think Newcastle has a good chance here, but they have a pretty easy path going forward here. They play Everton, Spurs, Brentford, Palace, Leicester, and West Ham in the league. My only concern is that even though they've been playing great, do they slip up? And if does that slip up cause a cascade? Because they have a little bit more breathing room, I think they'll be fine. But don't be surprised if they bottle it, though. Chelsea, Newcastle, and Villa. Chelsea, I think, has the easier of the schedules remaining or fixtures.
Newcastle, I think the only real challenge for us, or at least what every team is a challenge for us at this point. It really is just Liverpool and Newcastle, in my opinion.
Yeah, I will tell you, you'll be proud of me here. I actually think Chelsea might do it. I think Chelsea might get fourth.
I hope you're right. I'm gonna be real.
That schedule by Newcastle, all those remaining fixtures from Newcastle, just bothers me a little bit, because though it's not like they're all teams that are kind of playing for something. Like Villa, again, they're fighting for top 4 because there's no guarantee for them. They're in 7th place right now. Ipswich, although probably the door shut on them, still going to try to fight for relegation, against relegation. Brighton, pesky fucking team. You don't want to play them ever. That's like the last team where you know you need to get a result. That's a team that you don't want to play. And then obviously Chelsea, and then I mean Arsenal probably won't have anything to play for at that point, but Newcastle will. But they're going to make it hard. So that's why I'm leaning the odds there. Villa. I feel like Villa might just be like, F it. We're going to go all in on the Champions League and try to win that thing.
They said, fuck it, let's lock in.
So that's what I think. I think my top 4 will be obviously Liverpool, Arsenal, Forest, Chelsea.
Hey, I like that you're more hopeful than me. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I didn't think that was going to end up that way, but I'm thinking about it more. I don't like that fixture list.
I mean, I'm just like, to be honest with you, I just look at how Chelsea's been performing and I look at what's left. Don't love it. Don't love it one bit.
Yeah. Oh, well, worst case, you guys get Europa League because you'll win the Conference League.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I mean, I'll take that over anything, honestly.
All right. And last bit here. You want to do it together?
1, 2, 3. The champions! Da, 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 the champions!
Oh my god.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. My neighbor's going to be pissed.
Those pipes. Quarterfinals in the Champions League, baby. We've already known the fixtures for a minute, but to remind everyone, Barca, Dortmund, Paris Saint-Germain, Aston Villa, Bayern Munich, Inter Milan, Arsenal, Real Madrid. Who do you like, starting with Barca and Dortmund? Who do you like there?
It's Barca. For me, it's Barca. I like this Barca team a lot. I don't know. I think if Rafinha can get out of his head right now, it seems like he's still a bit of a head case from that absolute thrashing he got against Argentina. I think it's going to be Barcelona end of the day. This Dortmund side's good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I mean, so this is like basically all eggs are in the basket for Dortmund here. So they're going to give it their all. They're so far down below in the Bundesliga that there's really nothing to fight for besides this. I mean, there's some good players on their night. You never know. On their night, anything could happen. Just like, remember, like a few years ago, Barca dropped the ball against Roma. You know? I think also in the quarterfinal stage, too. So,
It's not impossible.
It's not impossible, but Barcelona is rolling right now. They're leading La Liga. I think they have a 4-point lead over Real Madrid. So I'm going with Barca here. I know everyone, Lamine Yamal, Lewandowski, Pedri, Gavi, just overpowering everywhere and all at once. So Dortmund needs to garner the power of the yellow wall to basically do something. Then PSG, Aston Villa.
It's probably going to be PSG, but I want Aston Villa. So I'm going to go Aston Villa. I'm going to put my hopium in that. I think that'd be cool to see. Personally, I just don't like PSG, so. I felt like
when we were talking about them before, you kind of liked them.
Oh, I don't like them as a team. No. I think their squad's like pretty solid. But like for me, it's like, I say that I own a lot of PSG jerseys. I don't know. I think as a brand, I like them. I don't like them as a team though.
I'll tell you this. I think I like this team. I actually like this PSG team. I like the way watching those 2 Liverpool games, and really that was the only real exposure I had to them because no one's watching Liga. I really liked the way they play. I like the way that team is constructed. Like that midfield of Vitinha and João Neves and Fabian Ruiz is really, really cool, really good. Like that's probably top 2, top 3 midfield trio in the world, in my opinion. And then they got, good players like Ousmane Dembele's having a really good year, and exciting guys like Barcola and Kvaratskhelia. Like, I like that team. I like this team. I think it might be too much for Villa. Because Villa, I mean, has had a really, I know Villa's had they've had some really good moments in in Champions League this year. They beat Bayern Munich and everything, but I I think it's PSG. I think PSG will,
Most likely is.
unless the ghost of PSG's past in the Champions League rear its ugly head. That's the only way I see Aston Villa getting through. But it wouldn't. But Aston Villa is a dangerous team. They got Ali Watkins, Marcus Rashford, Morgan Rogers. Like they have some really good, dangerous players on their squad. So, and Unai Emery is a great coach in tournament games. So we'll see.
Bayern Munich, Inter. I feel like before I really wanted to say Bayern, but I kind of think this Inter team might do it. They're kind of nasty this season.
They've kind of have a little bit of a grip, like in terms of league form. They have a little bit of better grip on the Serie A. They have like a 4-point lead over Napoli. This Inter, and I feel like the core of that team is still like the team that made the final a couple years ago.
Yeah.
is still there with a couple more additions. Like I think what's his face, Thuram was not on there.
Yeah.
And obviously they have Jan Sommer in goal, who I think is a better goalkeeper than Andre Onana. So
I mean, it's not even just that. But like, I mean, like their defense is solid. I mean, DeMarco's sick.
yeah, I mean he's
He's just another attacking force.
yeah, he's been really good. I don't know. I have a tough feeling because it's Bayern Munich, and also their Bayern Munich probably want to avenge what happened in 2012 because the Champions League final is in Munich this year.
I mean, we'll see what happens with that, but unfortunately, they do have a very key benefactor, which most people would think is an asset, but the superstitious football fan would think it's actually a hindrance. Is Harry Kane hates winning trophies apparently.
Yeah, but that looks like it's going to change this year.
We'll see. He'll get the Bundesliga title, but I don't know about the Champions League. Might not be in his future.
He might wait. I mean, it might not just be the Bundesliga. It might be like the never mind. He's not even winning the DFB Pokal.
He's not even winning the Pokal.
Yeah. All right. And the last game here, the big one probably, Real Madrid, Arsenal.
I mean, as a hater, I want Real Madrid to just smack them so hard, and I do not like Real Madrid this season. Like as a team, I think they are just whining quite a bit. I think everything with the Ballon d'Or ceremony with Vinny Jr. really left a bad taste in my mouth. But I want them to smack Arsenal so bad.
Sadly, Arsenal, not even sadly, because I also hate Arsenal too. Arsenal just has too many injuries in too many key places to compete. So I think they will easily, like, they lost Gabriel for the season, so they don't have him. So it's Saliba and I guess who is it? Gagliafiori as your back two, and Gagliafiori like kind of he's been really up and down. Like he had a good Euros, but kind of like been inconsistent since he's gotten to Arsenal. Now that maybe Barca's like kind of breaking away from La Liga a little bit, they're going to do the classic Real Madrid thing, and they're just going to go. We're just going to go win the Champions. If we can't win La Liga, we'll just win the Champions. It's the Real Madrid way.
I don't think it's in Arsenal's DNA, to be honest with you. I think that about does it for this week. Thank you all so much for listening. As always, make sure to tune in next week for some more Fullest Peace action. And as always, cheers, my friends. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Mwah.
Yeah, hit that like button. See you guys.